Welcome back to Mountain Connections. We are continuing our series with life skills coach Amanda Winters. She has been here for the past 3 weeks talking about how to find joy in your life, overcoming depression, and today she's going to talk about when you need to seek mental help for mental illness. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. It's great to be here again.
It's great having you here. So how do you know when you need to find professional help when you're struggling with a mental illness? That's a loaded question, I know.
It is, but really anytime. That's the thing, is that there's such a stigma. I actually had my husband the other day tell my daughter that she needed to see a shrink. And I was like, does she even know what a shrink is? But really being able to go to somebody that can talk you through transitions in life. And that's what she's going through right now, is a transition in life. So if you're if you just had a baby, if you just, have your college students heading off to college and they're nervous, if I have a friend whose son is just really struggling because he graduated from high school. So just those transitions, and really remember that it is the simple things that we need help with sometimes. Yes, I do have other tips, but really looking at using somebody consistently, whether it's a life coach like myself, working one-on-one with you, or really when we get into it deep, hiring a mental health professional.
There's quite a bit of stigma with seeking mental professional help for those kind of illnesses. I feel like it's a little bit generational. Have you found that to be true? I
have. So especially society, if you seek mental health, you're labeled as crazy, you're labeled as not good enough, that you can't handle life good enough, and so that makes people draw back from actually seeking the help. But if you look at it from the standpoint of, okay, I'm sick, physically sick, we go to the doctor, no problem, right? And so if we take the same attitude with our mental health, which is probably even more important, because I have found if you have a lot of emotional stuff going on, you will have physical symptoms. And so being able to recognize those is huge. Physical symptoms like you're tired, you want to sleep all the time, you're not coping with life. And that is one of the things to pay attention to.
It can be very dangerous to think, oh, I'll just take care of this myself. I can handle this. I'll just, buckle down and get through it. But that's not always the right answer.
No. So I have a father that was at a breaking point. He actually came up to my house, and he was at a breaking point of committing suicide. And that's when he finally sought help through the VA. As you know from past episodes, I have a brother that is bipolar, and he actually attempted suicide, and that's when he sought help. And that's really, you don't want to get to that point. You don't want to get to that crisis stage before you seek help. So if you're having a hard time transitioning, if you're a new mother, go seek somebody that can talk to you. And it's just like finding a friend that can talk to you through things that's unbiased. So many times with family members or even with our friends, there's a bias there, right? And so being able to talk to somebody that's unbiased is going to be huge.
Have you found with your clients that sometimes there's an issue of guilt, meaning I'm not as sick as this person, or my problems are first world problems, or my problems aren't near as severe as other people's problems? Do you find that as a barrier for people finding professional help?
Absolutely, because we like to compare ourselves, right? Oh, I'm not as bad. I don't need help because I'm not as bad. But it really comes down to them not feeling like they don't want to admit, because of the stigma of not being good enough if you seek help, that's really the back side of it that we don't recognize a lot of times, is those feelings of, if I admit that I need help, then I'm not good enough, which isn't true. It's a lie. It's a myth. And so really being able to look at things like, am I turning to substances to manage my emotions and what's going on? Am I sleeping a lot, like I just said? Am I just kind of going through life without feeling? And have I experienced a traumatic experience? So that doesn't mean, if you have experienced trauma in your life, that doesn't mean that it actually happened to you. It might mean that you witnessed trauma in somebody else's life, and it affects you tremendously. My daughter has a friend that she has seen that, and it has really affected her life, and she is able to work with somebody. But that's what we need to do, is be able to recognize that, yeah, sometimes we need to set up appointments so our children can work through things, because we can help them all we want as parents, but we're probably not the best solution all the time. Sometimes we are, but not all the time.
Where do you recommend people can go if they feel like they really need to find professional help? There's different levels. There's your life skills coach, there's therapists, there's psychiatrists. How do you know how to recommend to someone who they should see?
I would start with life skills coach. I know that field probably more, and if they're unable to help you, because honestly, I have worked with people that I am unable to help. They need professional help. They might need to be able to go to a therapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist so they can be placed on medication, because sometimes the brain chemistry is so out of whack that we need to get that back in balance before we can seek, help in overcoming that mountain that they feel like they have in their life.
Where can we get more information about you and what you offer? You have a lot of different things that you do with clients, employees, businesses. How can we get more information?
So you can go to my website, which is theewi.com, and I have one-on-ones that you can ask for. I have group coaching that I do, whether it's corporate or just families. Being able to work through things as families is huge, because once we get everybody in a family to heal, then there's true progress made.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for being here. Definitely an important conversation to have.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again to Amanda Winters, Life Skills Coach. This is part 3 of her 4-part series, We talked about finding joy, depression, and now when to seek professional help for mental illness. If you want to see some of her previous interviews, check out Park City Television on YouTube, and they are posted there. All right, much more coming up on Health and Wellness Thursday after this break.